Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the incredible Jiggs Whigham.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome to this hour of terror. It's first of all, I'd like to thank both Ted Wagner and Alan Baumwell, people here from Consumer, and the company, of course, Consumer, and Elkhart, who've supported this visit. They make this Jiggs Whigham model trombone, which we've been playing for a long time, and I love it. And them, and also thanks Steve and all the guys in the band back here who have not played a note yet, but I know you're going to play splendidly, as always. And Sam and people here at the fort who made this thing possible for many years. For 40 years, isn't it? I think 40? 40 years, jeez. It's almost half as old as I am, or feel. But it's great to be here, and thank you for the attendance. I'm very honored that you came. And I mean, how do I follow these guys with all the ta-da-ta? I mean, how do you do with all that? It's just so fantastic playing and such wonderful artistry. But in a way, I'm very glad that this came before I tried to do what I'm doing, because it'll show a very clear juxtaposition of what we do in jazz music or popular music or whatever it is, which is a whole different, in lots of ways, way of playing, an approach to music and a different concept of life, basically. First of all, this thing today was advertised as a recital. It will not be a recital. I can't recite anything, except Mary Had a Little Lamb, maybe. That's about as much recital as you get from me. But we'll do some playing, and some talking, and some questions. And the first thing I want to say is that the importance of music, why are we here? Why are we all attempting to do this stuff? Make music on the trombone for the most part. Why is that? It's very simple, I think. In all these years of attempting to do it in a halfway decent manner, is that it's a matter of love. Love. Love is the most important thing we have in this dimension of life, called love. Yeah. And music is a very clear facet of love. Think about that. We communicate with people through music. We make sounds. We make people laugh and cry and make love and stuff. That's what music does. Yeah, it excites you, and it sends people into battle. It also makes people feel great and laugh and feel inspired. And this is something, I think, that's something very important for us to remember, that music really is about love. And it's not about chops and playing high and playing low and playing fast. That's part of a facet of what we try to do. You've got to do that. You've got to have a decent technique on this thing, because if you can't speak the language, there's no way that you can communicate. There's just no way to do it. You'll see, you're speaking, how many people speak Japanese here? Hands up. Gombawa, gozaimasu. Welcome. I speak, that's as good as it gets for me. And I can say my home state too, Ohio. That's about as good as it gets. But the thing is that you speak Japanese and I don't, Maltini, and so I can't communicate in Japanese. You can. And that's the thing about making music on a trombone or any instrument you play, is to have skills that allow you to make music, but to communicate and make, that's the thing we're trying to get to. And all these people, I hope you got the handout. There's a handout outside. Does everybody did not get a handout? Oh, could we have some handouts? Are there any more left out there? Pass them around to the people in the expensive seats up there. Be great. So, but in this they're gone, huh? Oh well, we tried. Okay, so we'll go through it anyway. There's an article that was just published in the British Trombone Society's paper that I wrote about interpreting melodies. And I think that's something that unfortunately is sadly lacking in a lot of players, not only younger players, but people that, in my opinion, play great trombone, play great technique, play all the kind of wonderful things, but it's important to play a melody, to make a melody sound beautiful. And these people that were my mentors over the years, of people, Irby Green and Tommy Dorsey, and all these people knew how to do that. And I stole from them. And it says, you'll see in the article, it said, this is Picasso, said that the good borrow, the great steal. There's something about that commandment, thou shalt not steal. Not true. Sometimes. So if you steal the stuff from people and really got to get inside their styles, that's important. So I mean, for example, you can play a melody like this one. It's a way of playing kind of a jazz way. Or lots of ways you can play it. Same tune, different styles. But it's important, I feel, to be able to play these different styles so you practice them. Learn how to make it sound good. I was fortunate about 20-some years ago to come across a young trombone player in Port Townsend, Washington. He played great jazz. So I think he was 16, 17 years old, this camp I do every summer. Run by John Clayton right now. He used to be run by Bud Shank. And his name was Toby Oft. There he is. There's Toby. Come on, Toby Oft. Give him a round of applause back there. Come on up here, baby. Come on up here. Now, Toby, you just heard Toby do his... You will, something like that. Something akin to that. And he does, these guys all did it beautifully, of course. But most of you don't know that Toby is a killer jazz trombone player. Oh, yeah. We did something last year in Cleveland with a bunch of trombone players. We got together and played and this backup band that I had was fantastic. Toby was in the band, playing parts. Nice arrangements by Paul Ferguson. And at the end of the concert, about 2 tunes from the end, we played a blues rest, that type of hot blues, that kind of groovy blues. And I said, Toby, you want to blow some? And he said, oh, no, I haven't played jazz for a long time. This guy's a very, very humble guy. And he said, I haven't played jazz for. I said, come on, come on. He said, okay. And he did. And he brought the house down. You son of a... He was great. So we decided we're going to have some fun and bring Toby is totally unprepared, as am I, as you can tell. Can you tell I'm unprepared? Oh, the script is right in front of me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is right there. So we're going to play a blues. Choose a key. Blues at F. All right. We'll do it like that. Groove, guys ready? Groove section. Okay. Points up.
actually, when I was learning jazz, one of the ways that I learned the quickest was to, I was working with Jeffy Sotelo a lot in Oregon, where Nathan and I are from, in fact. And what we would do is we would just play Jamie Aebersold records back and forth, and I would essentially transcribe what Jeff was doing on the spot. That's how I learned. But you know that transcribing in jazz, of course, that's what you got to do to just grow as a musician. I'm curious, how much trombone do you listen to? Like when you were the influence of you arriving at where you are, was it purely transcribing trombone solos, or did you have a lot of influence for piano or sax, and then who was it?
Well, great question. And the answer is, I listen to an awful lot of stuff. I mean, from Bach, Bartok, Stravinsky, Mahler, and Mozart. I played piano, not very well, but I did. And I used to listen to that stuff, and also big bands, and and here at jazz, I'll listen to all the great trombone players, Carl and Frank Russell, JJ and stuff. Herbie, all those wonderful, great players, and Teagarden. And Miff Moole, and the older guys too. And all that stuff, I took pieces I didn't steal. I stole. I'm a thief. I really I belong in jail, probably. Don't tell anybody. But I used to practice these guys and trying to get the style. For example, is that mine or yours? Anybody got a cooties or something? No. Guys in Boston, they got cooties, Oh, I live in Cape Cod, shut up. I listen to, like, for example, Teagarden. I try to emulate his style as much as I could. That's not Teagarden, really, because I'm not Teagarden, but I try to get the essence of what this man was doing on the trombone, and Frank and all these other people, JJ. That's sort of the vibrato he had and the style, and JJ was a very succinct player, and as he wrote, and his personality was no gray with JJ, black or white. And that's the way he played, that's the way he wrote. Very clear. Other players, people like Herbie, for example. Fluffy style, and all these guys influenced my playing, my musical character, I guess, and because they were all great. And do I have favorites? Yeah. And by the way, do I use drugs? Yeah, I do. The drug of euphoria. Not the stuff you can buy in a can or get in the street. Euphoria, the joy of making music. That's the secret, guys. You do it with an open heart and with love, and it's fun. It's fun. It should be fun. If it's not fun, you're making a mistake. Something's wrong someplace. You gotta make some fun, have some fun. These guys are having fun up here. They're playing. They're serious players. I mean, these are top guys. But you can see they're having fun and carrying on and having a different style. But anyway, you asked, I'm going on and rambling here about your question, but that's how I learned. And I remember listening to Stravinsky for the Flight of Spring, first time. I couldn't believe this wonderful, and there's a wonderful story about Stravinsky when he conducted an orchestra recording the Flight of Spring in New York, and before he passed, obviously, in the 60s, I guess. And the bassoon player played the opening line. And Stravinsky, of course, it was perfect. And Stravinsky stops and said, excuse me, sir, but you're playing it beautifully, but it sounds too easy. So when I wrote this piece, was back in the early part of the 20th century, and I wrote it, I could have put it in the cor anglais, which is the middle part of where the range of that instrument is, but I put it on the very highest part of the bassoon. So the bassoon player would have to struggle playing it. In the meantime, the playing the bassoon got easier and easier, better and better. Technique increased. And he said, but it sounds too simple, because I wanted, and this is where I was appreciated, Stravinsky, but I really started to love the man. Because I was trying to express a crocus breaking through the snow. How about them apples? So this is the beauty of that music. And Bartok, and I played the stuff, and all the stuff just is, you know, and I still love orchestral music. I don't want to play in orchestras. I could do it probably, I can, you know, I could have the facility to do that, but I have so much respect for you guys that do that, because I couldn't do that same way over and over again. And my spirit's built a different way, come on.
I mean, if you're trying to recreate something that happened before, it's not organic to the present, and you will choke. I mean, the most you can hope for is a very tight performance that you will not enjoy. And it will be a shadow of something that happened before when you were present and you were making something amazing. But like, I think that that's an unfortunate mistake that a lot of younger players think that, okay, you're a classical player and you're going for this ideology, and when you arrive there, then you've achieved nirvana. And it's actually not like that. The best way you can do it is to stay present in the moment, because you're managing all these different emotions in yourself, and then of course the phrase structure around you that's happening, and it's new right then. If you let it be new, and you let it be something that you haven't done before, for good or bad, then that performance is going, it has the possibility of being the best that it can be. But if you're trying to create something that's already happened before, I mean, what you have is, on the page, it's like paint by numbers or connect the dots. And it's a very sad, it's a very sad thing to say, okay, well, what we've got is a shark, because we went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and we connected it, and like I've done this with my daughter. It's like, oh my goodness, it's a shark, you know. But that's not what we're going for. We're going for something organic to the present, which may look like a shark, but it's appropriate for that moment. It didn't need to exist before, and it doesn't need to exist. It might because it's in recording, and that's something. It's a shadow of what we do if you listen to the recording, because you could spend $50,000 and buy the best stereo system you possibly could, and it will be a shadow of what it would be like if you were actually at the concert. The things that you can hear. I could go on that one actually. Well, okay. Look at when you create something digitally, you've heard of a sampling rate. You're creating a sound wave like this, right? And what your computer does is it plots a point, and then it plots another point, and it plots another point, and another point, and another point, and then when it replays it, it just connects all those dots. And the thing is that it creates some jagged edges and everything, and although it's really clear, it's not going to be exactly what you heard. Unfortunately, like if you listen to an MP3 file, actually I should backtrack, just you've heard a sampling rate, 44K per second. That's 44,000 dots per second that the computer connects. All right, and you can get 96, but it's still not the same. And I don't know, you could go on and on, but the thing is, if you listen to an MP3, the dynamic range of the orchestra is compressed. It was this big. They take the sine wave and they keep it the same, but they just compress it like this. So you're hearing exactly what you did here, but the dynamic range between pianissimo and fortissimo is very small. And so you're hearing a shadow of a shadow of a shadow of what it actually was. And so this comes back to the fact that we're creating music for the moment that's appropriate for that moment. We are actually sharing something together. I miss that about jazz because it's much more visceral. Things can get really complicated insofar as the rhythmic structure of a piece and insofar as the expectations, because of course you have an idea of how the writer's swing goes going into it. I miss the sort of creativity that's available in jazz quite a bit, but in orchestra music, the worst thing you can do is try to create something that happened before. and you can keep yourself from getting too nervous by removing the expectations to do something you've already done. You're supposed to build on that and create something new, and that's, that's a good. I have one more question for you.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I literally was, after the Cleveland Trombone Seminar, I came home and I was talking to my wife. I said, Jiggs, I think he's in his late 50s.
Thank you. I'm 70.
How do you sound? I was like, I want to sound that good in my late 50s. How do you, like, you sound gorgeous. And there's a lot of trombone players that get into their late 50s and they aren't able to maintain such a clear sound. You have like a, and don't say with love. I mean, I realize that that's a part of it. What are we doing after this?
I don't know about you, I'm going to the bar. Well, thank you for that, and the observation, I feel very honored that you say that. And the secret, I think, is first of all, hearing, listening, first of all, listening, and finding something in your ear that you want to do with the sound, a concept of thinking, of being influenced, of course, by Irby Green, gorgeous sound, and people who have this wonderful stuff that they do, but they're all different. Irby and JJ are like mud and ice cream, but the sounds are a totally different concept, but wonderful. And they were fans of each other too, by the way. But you have this idea of a sound, of emulating a sound. Dick Nash. Wonderful sound, so I copied that stuff. The Mancini record, it's called Joanna, I think, the name of the tune. Listen, try to get that. And then I realized that he was still sounding better than I was when I was 16, 17 years old. And I found a guy called Buddy Baker when I was playing with Stan Kenton's band. And he said, you know, you sound real good. I was 19. But he said, you might want to try to put your air in a different place. I was breathing, high breathing, and it works. You know, was playing with Kenton and Glenn Miller and professional gigs and everything, but I was working too hard for it, and my face would hurt and everything. And he said, so he showed me some exercise about breathing, and about this whole thing of breathing from down here. And out, so all that stuff. So, and I practiced that for a long time. Then it became habitual. And once something is habit, then it's there. Then you have to think about it anymore. For a long time, I was playing in bands and doing gigs and still breathing, you know, oh, that's not, and then I started to work where I was doing that. And it became then something I did, and that has carried me through all these times of playing different styles and playing, you know, loud. I mean, you're gonna really brazenly. That's loud. Maybe not nice, but it's loud. And you know, and those different styles that I think we should all learn how to do. And that's how it worked for me anyway. since we're probably under the, the gun here, you got some time left. Oh, don't you go so quickly. I'd like you to pay particular attention to a thing called style. It's in this thing I hand out, of style. And that comes through years and years and years and years of listening to these people. And time, pulse, pitch. You'll hear when I play, I bend the pitch a lot. Because I want to. That's how I hear things.